I want to welcome Agile XRM to the podcast. I've known the people at Agile XRM for the past 12 years. I've seen how their business process management tool can add massive value to complex organizational processes in sectors such as finance and government. If you have complex processes or a need for dialogues on the Power Platform or Dynamics 365, take a look at how this BPM tool can add value. You can find them at agilexrm.com or check out the show notes for more details. Welcome to the MVP Show. My intention is that you listen to the stories of these MVP guests and are inspired to become an MVP and bring value to the world through your skills. If you have not checked it out already, I do a YouTube series called How to Become an MVP. The link is in the show notes. With that, let's get on with the show. Today's guest is all the way from India. He's the principal consultant at Himbap. He was first awarded as MVP in 2010, so a long, long time ago. He's authored 3 books on Dynamics 365 in the CRM CE space. He has implemented Dynamics CRM for various domains like pharma, media, insurance, automobile, and education. You can find full links to his bio, social media resources, etc. in the show notes for this episode, so check that out. Welcome to the show, Mahindra.
Thank you, Smith. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
It's good to have you. It's good to have you on here. My first question is: you've been an MVP since 2010. That's a heck of a long time.
Yeah. So basically, I started around 2007. I got opportunity to work in a technology company. So in August 2007, I joined as a .NET and GP developer. Great Plains. We used to have the Great Plains product. So I was good at that time in .NET, and they hired me to be part of the GP team and work on the .NET as well. And luckily, in 2000 August, I joined, and there was no project on GP side in 2007 gone, and now 2008 came. Again, there was no GP project where they can apply me as a resource. So luckily, that time we had CRM practice there, and at time there was CRM 3.0, and we got a project where company wanted to implement the duplicate detection. So that time there was no duplicate detection in CRM 3.0, and because I was good in .NET, and they said that okay, just use him as a .NET resource to build these web pages. And there was another resource, one of my friend, he was working as a CRM consultant. So we both started, working on that project, and that was my first interaction with Dynamics, CRM. So that I feel connected, because I was, from the .NET, and everything that we do from the technical side is basically related to, scripting, and that's from the .NET side only. So that, I felt connected on that, and then I started taking interest in CRM, and they provided some functional training of this Dynamics, that sales module, marketing module, and service module. Okay, so that's how my journey started with Dynamics CRM. But this company was not that big, so we were not getting that much project. So there was no chance for learning new things, right? So then time started passing. So one day I was working on something, and I found a link for the Dynamics forum, and that was my first interaction. I saw that, okay, what is this? So I saw there was lots of questions, and everybody was posting their questions that they are trying to do this, that's not working, and how to do this. So I felt like, okay, there is a chance to get problems from there and try to do it my own, so that I can learn something. So let's learn from other mistakes, or let's learn from other requirement if we are not getting any requirement. So then around 2008, I started participating in forum, and it was I was spending so much time on that in around 2010 August, I got email from Jim Glass, and he said that you're very good, actively involving in the community and working lots of forum on that. So are you interested for that MVP program? And that was so I said yes, of course. And he that time I was not writing any blog post, so he also said suggested me to, you should also write some blog post. And in August, I created my blog and I started working on that. And in 2010 October, I got that wonderful email from Microsoft, and I got a chance to become first MVP from India for Dynamics CRM.
Wow, I didn't realize that you were the first one.
Yeah, so I'm the first MVP from CRM, for
Yeah.
so then it's like 2007, and journey started, and 2010 I got my first MVP.
That's brilliant, because I'm just trying to think, when was the first Dynamics CRM MVPs awarded? What year was it? What was the very first year? Because I was awarded in 2012, and I know that, David Yak, for example, he was already an MVP, but in another technology area, and he transferred. But I wonder which year was the very first year of the first business application MVP, whether that be in the ERP or the CRM side. I wonder what year it was.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know that, because I think
I wonder if it was
from this.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it was 2009, 2008. I might have to ask David Yak. I might have to flick him a message after this and see what that situation was. I've never thought about it. Anyhow, tell me a bit about what you do when you're not doing Microsoft stuff. What's fun for you? Tell me a bit about your family and the best thing to eat where you live.
Yeah, so basically I'm from the Himachal state. If you know that in India we have a Himachal, that land of ice, so I'm basically from there. But right now I'm staying in the Delhi NCR, so it's Haryana, Sonipat. So there I stay with my family. So my when I'm not working on the technology, I like to travel different places. I like to try different food, and I like to cook. So that type of thing I do. Like traveling, whenever I get chance, I take my car and my family, and we go somewhere, to meet somebody or visit some place. So that's right.
Now, you've written a lot of books, 3 books. Now, it'd blow my mind to write 1 book, but you've written 3. That's pretty phenomenal. How come you haven't retired yet? Does it not make you a millionaire on writing all those tech books?
It's not like that, but you are correct. Like when especially it's very difficult for a family person, because you have a responsibilities for your families. You have kids. So when I started working my first book in 2012, at 2011 version, I wrote my book. That time my kid was small, so they were not much interacting, disturbing me, or so that kind of thing was there. But after that, when I wrote my second book and third book, that time they were grown, and I was feeling like when I had to spend a lot of time writing on these books, especially if you are when a single author, right? So it's very difficult, like you're not spending time with your kids, and all the weekends you're spending on writing chapters, and so it take a lot of efforts. So that's how it went. And I also got other opportunities to write the book, but now I have limited that, so I don't take any opportunity now. So whenever, especially if they will ask, if I want to write it as a single author, so I just prefer them that if there is another author, then I can take part, and we can write collectively. But it's very difficult for a family person to that. So that's
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, right?
It's a lot of work that you need to do. So,
and you obviously enjoyed writing, though, because you did it 3 times. Like, one, I can understand, you make a big career goal, you decide, hey, I'm going to write a book.
Yeah.
But what was your thinking around writing the second book? Did you feel that, did it last time, I know how I'd do it better? What were your thoughts around book number 2?
Yeah. So actually, the first, let me give you the first thing, like why I wrote my first book was that, that there was already very, very good books available in the market. And there was but when I used to read them, I feel like some of the books were very hard to, understand. Like their language was very not a easy language. So it was very difficult. Some sentences were very difficult, and there was not very, it's not easy to understand. So that was the idea. I thought that let me try to make it simple and write something in a very simple language, so that whenever who is reading, a fresher is when reading it, then they can read it very simply, and they can understand it very quickly. So that was the first thing. And when I saw that response on the first book, and it was good response, like I was getting feedback from my readers and emails, and then I got the another book chance, and then I thought, okay, let's try with the new version, and let's add some more capability to books. And because I worked on the same concept, so it was basically how to use Dynamics CRM as a XRM platform to build different domain application. So that was the main idea for the books. And my all three books are basically kind of surrounding all this same idea. So that was the reason that I just try to make it simple, if as much as I can do. So that was the whole idea for writing that.
How did you find the promotional efforts of Packet? I take it you were with Packet the whole time as your publisher?
Yes, they are there.
How well is their promotion ecosystem? Like how well did they get your book out in front of the audiences around the globe? And the reason I ask you this is because you've been publishing books before Amazon, had the Kindle out there, before that became, so you're back when they were big, thick books, right? That would sit on your shelf. How did you find them getting that Packet got those out into the global, bookstores and things like that, and really got that exposure?
Yeah, no, I think they did very well all the marketing things, and they started with the initial, just like sending email to all the, industry experts to provide their review on the different channels, like on the Packet pub website, and they also most of that. Whoever any website which are selling Microsoft books, so they have published everywhere, and they are basically doing lots of marketing activities and running that campaigns where they send bulk emails to that different users that these are the books, and do you want to try. And they also offer some kind of ebooks on that some less price, so that you can check that okay how this book is, and then maybe you can go for the paper book. So I think from what I think that they have done very good marketing, and to make it this book available globally. Because when I see like in the different website, I see the comments from the users, and they are from the different space. So that's I think they did a good marketing on the books.
Yeah, good. If you look at the work that you do today as opposed to the work you're doing 10 years ago in the space, and you said your books are focused around XRM story. You've seen Microsoft separate what we now call data first off from the premium app layer of Dynamics. Are you finding you're building more solutions, like I'm talking about even model-driven apps built directly on Dataverse, rather than building with a first-party SKU like a Dynamics? In the old days, right, when we did an XRM solution, we would take Dynamics CRM and we would turn it into another thing, right? We'd turn it into a first aid management system. We'd turn it into a dog training, a guide dog training solution. We'd turn it into, a tool to track stolen cars for police agencies. We'd turn it into all sorts of things. Now we don't have to do that, right? We can grab the Dataverse, we can build any app. The type of work you're doing all the time nowadays, is it much more that you're just building custom applications directly on Dataverse for customers?
Yeah, so we do both type of customization, and both type of it depends on basically how what is the requirement, right? So sometimes basically they want to, the customers are using like for example, if they are working on that field service, and so they want to utilize the field service first party app, and sometimes they want to utilize the first party apps only. But if that's totally custom and that's not a traditional sales purchase things, then we start from the model driven app. So for example, maybe you're building some app for that pharmaceutical, right? And you have lots of custom entity that need to be built, and no out of the box entity. They are not using any out of the box entity. They are not using any traditional sales, service, or marketing life cycle. So they have their own we need to build our own custom life cycle for them based on their requirement. Then we start from the model driven app. So that's what we are, most of our requirement that we are getting from that only. So for example, cleaning service app, that looking for that physician, nearest physician app. So these type of apps we are getting. So working with that email parsing using the AI. So getting like bidding emails, parse emails. So that kind of work, definitely yes, now we got where, and it's easy actually. When we go with the model driven app, it's easy to build it, as well as because you get support from the out of the box, what platform provides. So you don't need to go to that core level and build from that scratch, right? So out of the box things are there. And licensing part is also easy, right? So if you go to first party app, the license is very costly compared to the model driven app. So that's basically starting something from $5 or $10, right? So that's easy there. But now still sometimes they're kind of the dependency, sometimes knowingly or unknowingly, sometimes customers build something their own, and they interact, combine the both their custom entity and the first party app, and which introduce some kind of dependency. And when they are deploying the solution, and that require, okay, we need this entity and that's not present, and that solution fails. So that's kind of things still there sometime. Yep.
Have you looked much into AI lately?
Yeah, so we have done 2 projects, and where we have utilized that AI capabilities. So as I said, like we recently done one project for our US customers where we worked on the bidding emails. So we were, the requirement was to get the email and parse the contents of the email and identifies, core. There was some core data set that we need to identify and put it on that different entity. So that was we utilized AI, and that basically the email was unstructured email. So that was a different thing, because if it's a easy, it's a structure, it's easy that you have that AI model that you can utilize and get the data from there. But in our case, it was totally unstructured. So we utilized 2-3 models there and worked on that, and build that model driven app as well as Canvas app to so that they can use it on the mobile device and tablet device to work there.
Yeah, very, very, very good. Very good. My final question for you is, you've been an MVP for a heck of a long time. What brings you the most joy in being an MVP?
This thing, like what I will say, that you are known globally, right? So I was working like technology space, and I was writing that books as well, that also introduce you globally. But in the MVP has it has its own space, right? So now globally they know that yes, there is a person who's sitting on the India, and that represent. And because when I was in company, we used to hear like this, whenever you have a MVP resource in your company, there is a different what you say, like they treat it a different, like MVP. And when you go to any office, I remember I when I was in Australia, so I went to on the client side, and they were when I first day I went there, everybody was so excited that MVP is coming here for the review that project. And that was great feeling that so that's different.
Very cool. Is this when you were working at SMS, Management Technology?
Yes.
Because I didn't realize that, because I set up that practice there, and I left in February 2017, and I think you joined in December 2017, right?
Yes, I missed that part, and I was like, oh, yes, I missed that.
You missed the exciting build for the 3-year build experience. That was amazing, fun times.
But we met on the MVP summit in 2013, if you remember. MVP.
In Atlanta? Sorry, no, in Advanta campus, right?
Yeah.
We'd been in the Advanta campus,
yes,
yeah.
Yes.
I don't even know that Microsoft has the Advanta campus anymore. I think they've left the building, right? They've moved all over to main campus now.
Oh.
The BizApps team. So I don't think we'll ever visit that building again. Advanta A and Advanta B back in the day. It's a long time ago. Well, it's 10 years ago. Crazy. Mahindra, it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Same here.
Thank you very much for having me on the show.
Hey, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Business Application MVP Mark Smith, otherwise known as the NZ365 Guy. If you like the show and want to be a supporter, check out buymeacoffee.com/NZ365 Guy. Thanks again, and see you next time.